Welcome into another Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri. We're going to talk superlatives today. We're going to talk to folks from Booker T, boys and girls, from Memorial and for Rogers, not only their coaches, but all staters. We're going to check in over at Edison. They have a program for athletic trainers for students. We're going to be doing that as well. So you're going to hear a lot about really high accomplishments, great players, great coaches right here today. Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri, and I love this segment because my wife was an athletic trainer, so I love getting a chance to talk to athletic trainers. And what I wasn't aware of, because I'm not that smart, is that there are student athletic trainers, and I'm really excited because we've got a couple of people here with us today. First of all, we have Diana Jones, who's an AT at Edison, athletic trainer, and then Molly Merrill, who I happen to know your entire family, is a student athletic trainer. All right. Knowing your dad and Grant and what he does and your mom and what she does, did that kind of lead you into this, or did you get this interest some other way?
I mean, being around athletics, that always helps. And like, I've grown up being along with my dad, you know, he does broadcasting all the time. So I've always gotten to be around sports. And I got to meet like one of our trainers a few years ago, and I was like, oh, like this is cool. And then the school I went to before Edison, I took a class and I was like, okay, this is really cool. So then I moved to Edison, and then I joined athletic training.
All right, so let's talk to you, Diana, about doing this, about athletic training for students. First of all, you're a trainer yourself. Obviously, you've done many things, and you have an education out the roof. But what about this part of it got you interested to begin with? Because then that has to lead to what got you teaching.
Yeah, so I was a student athletic trainer in high school. However, I did not work with a certified, so we were kind of hands-on in control of everything. Being able to be a part of the team while not having to be athletic, because I'm not athletic at all, was exactly what got me interested. I was able to be in the team environment and help as well.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because I think there are a lot of people who don't believe that people like, you know, equipment managers even, because they're really working hard, they are a part of that. They feel like they're a part of that. So you got that right away?
Absolutely. I don't think a lot of people realize that the athletic trainers and the equipment managers are there before the athletes get there, and they're long after they leave.
Yeah.
So in most situations, you're really accepted. Not a lot of situations do people look at you and they're like, no, you're not a part of this team.
Yeah,
so
well, when they need you to fix their ankle, they're really
absolutely, absolutely.
What got you interested in the physiology part of it, the health part of it? Was that an interest to begin with?
I don't think it was an interest to begin with. I grew up telling myself I was going to be a lawyer my whole life, and then one day went to a camp and decided this was what I was going to do with life. I'm not entirely sure how that flipped, but it did, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, that is really cool. All right, so when you first met her and you were kind of trying to work your way into this, what'd you think?
She switched to our school this year, and like, so I'd gotten the opportunity to meet a few, but like every athletic trainer is different, so how they do it is different. But when I met her, I was like super excited. She's pretty awesome. But like, I got to like go through my senior year athletic training, and you know, you always learn something new. Obviously, meeting new people helps you learn something new, and especially in athletic training, everyone's going to have a different way of doing things, like how you handle things on fields, off the field, like what the procedure is in the training room, everything. So like, it's just cool to get to like meet new people and learn what they do differently.
And adopt a little of everybody, right?
Yeah.
Coaches will tell you that, athletes will tell you that, learn and take little pieces from everybody. Who were some of your mentors?
Ron Walker at the University of Tulsa.
The king.
Yeah, he's
king.
been around for a long time, doing great. He just finished his doctorate degree while I was there, so that was one of the reasons why I decided I was going to go on and get a doctorate degree as well, just because he wanted to be called Dr. Walker, so I wanted to be called Dr. Jones. It made sense to me. And then Robin Ploger at the time, she was a really big influence on me continuing my education.
It's an interesting question, because my wife, as I said, was a trainer at Tulsa as well, athletic trainer at Tulsa as well. The way you approach different athletes, because different athletes they all accept the help different personalities and things along those lines. And my wife, I know, honed those skills along. This is a young man who doesn't talk very much. This is a guy who's really outgoing. This is a young lady who, is a little touchier. How do you start to learn the athletes?
I think watching them at practice and how they interact with their teammates, and then sometimes how they interact with their coaches, will let you know where you need to meet them on the medical side. Because especially in high school, a lot of them are wary of like speaking to adults. So being able to meet them where they're at and watching how they interact with others.
What about you? Because you're talking to peers.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. You may be in class with somebody and the next thing you know, you're telling them about their injury and all they're worried about is this hurts and I want to fix it.
Yeah.
How did you approach it?
I mean, knowing that like we're kind of like, I'm able to help them like on a personal level because I know them and I'm like, hey, like calm down. It always helps like knowing, hey, I can help you. I just need you to work with me, and like getting to interact with everybody every day and like talk to them. I know how I should talk to them, get information across, know how to ask them what question I need to ask for her.
So you've got a catalog of everybody, right? Just how
Yeah.
how you approach them. Just again, like a coach would, right?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of your classes?
My classes while in college,
Yeah.
writing papers. I enjoy the research side of it. I enjoy learning like how to take care of things in different ways and how it's been done in the past and how we can improve on it now. But when it took time to sit down and write the paper, I was like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
But I also procrastinated to the last minute.
Well,
so.
and then with PhD, because my daughter just finished hers, it's nothing but writing for a while.
All of
it's
it.
Forever, right?
Yeah, the entire last year was working on that dissertation.
Yeah, that's right. So what was the hardest thing for you when it came to the actual learning materials?
Just like learning what all the different types of like processes you have to go for just different types of injuries and everything, and like what I can do and what I have to let her do, and like where the line is.
Gotcha. Well, Diana Jones and Molly Merrill, thank you guys for being here. It's been really fun. I appreciate that, and good luck in your career.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics coming up.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Again, I'm your host, Rick Couri, and I'm excited to be joined by an All-Stater and a coach from over at Booker T. Washington. You might have heard of them. They played pretty well this year. First of all, Eric Gill's here, the assistant coach. Now, Eli Brown was supposed to be here, and Eli's somewhere doing something, and so you came out. We appreciate that. And you wanted to make one point about being better looking than Eli.
Yeah, that this side of me looks better on the camera than what Eli would have presented. So I'm here to make this a better experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Eli, thank you very much. All right, and Jamarri Simpson, thank you for being here, All-State basketball player. I mean, team goals are the first thing, but it's pretty cool being recognized as an All-Stater. What was that emotion like?
I mean, it felt good. I mean, I've been working hard since I was a freshman. I mean, we always got the team goal to win state, but then you always have your individual goals like All-Stater, make the All-State game, just stuff like that. So it feels real good.
You're working on those individual goals at the same time you're working on a team goal. Does that ever enter your mind, or are you just out there working?
I mean, I'm just out there working because I always put the team before myself first. So, I mean, it just, when I'm working hard for the team, self accolades come with that.
They do. I'd ask Eric, I said, is this a guy asked for the basketball? And you said never.
Yeah. He didn't talk too much when he first got into the program, but he definitely matriculated actually into our defensive coordinator on the court. So he was our voice on the court and then coach on the court on the defensive end.
It's so interesting you say that because I was around a lot of college athletes when I was broadcasting Tulsa basketball who were defensive specialists, and they liked it. You don't see that a lot in young athletes. What triggered you to really like playing defense?
I mean, a lot of people don't like playing defense, so I feel like defense is one of the biggest things that's going to keep you on the court, especially in college. I mean, take charges, dive on the ball, talking. So that just what separates me.
Shut down a guy, and you're going to stay in a basketball game, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's a different kind of attitude, isn't it, Eric?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a different type of attitude, but it's also something that we pride ourselves on at Booker T. You know, home of the champions, and you understand that defense wins championships. So Jamarri learned at a young age if he wanted to get on the court, then he was going to have to do those small, innocuous things that maybe don't get into the stat sheets, and he has mastered that. Taking charges. He takes the strongest defensive assignments. He'll guard anybody from 6'1" to 6. What was old buddy? 6'9", 6'10". So he does it all.
That's fun. You know, like Dennis Rodman said, rebounding and defense is effort, right? If you're doing that, you're doing the right things. You know, I asked Eli when he was here after the title game, I said, when did you know? When in this year, and you knew you were going to have a good basketball team. I'm sure you knew that too. When in the season did it click for you that not only is it good, we've got a chance to do exactly what we want?
Well, I'm different from Eli. I'm the statistician and the intellectual, I guess, on the coaching staff. And to be honest, in the championship game with 6 minutes left, and I think we were up by 30, in my mind, I was thinking, what is a possible way for them to come back in 6 minutes? So I didn't know until we took them out of the championship game. But throughout the season, they put in the work. We did it brick by brick, small incremental things to help us get better. We were constantly learning. We were intentional with our schedule to challenge them. And I think if I were to be honest and not be such a stickler, when we got back from Quincy, Illinois, and we took O'Connell, one of the 14th ranked team in the country, to double overtime, I said, these guys get it. And that was kind of the turning point.
Was that the same for you? How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, because we really looked forward to that, and especially playing one of the top-ranked teams. And once we felt like we could hang with top-ranked teams, we just felt like we could hang with anybody. How
do you approach practice? Because as Coach said, you know, that's where you get better. I loved it as an athlete personally. It was kind of another opportunity to go play the game you love, but not everybody likes it. How did you approach it? I mean, I always approach it as another day to get better. I always want to make my teammates better. Physical. We had this one drill, box out drill. I had a video pop up in my recent where basically we was all grabbing each other, about to fight. Well, you box out, and of course we all know you're just trying to get position, but how do you run that drill in practice? I mean, it's no foul, so we basically just getting each other physical, helping each other get better, helping each other get stronger, helping each other be more smart. And so it's basically football's Oklahoma drill, but for basketball. Yeah, so it's 2-on-2 box out. We're intentional. We blow the whistle one time, and then I put the whistle in my shirt and let them know there's no whistle, and it doesn't stop until somebody scores. And so that we have to do that in the off season at the beginning of the season, so nobody gets hurt. But yeah, first time that happened, what'd you think? Were you like, was it crazy? I think the first time it happened, I was a freshman, so I mean, the older guys doing it, it was kind of. I didn't want to really be in that because they was all bigger, stronger. But like as I got older, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, because I like being physical. So I was just like, this is fun actually. My turn. Yeah. Exactly. You said you've had this young man around since 8th grade. How have you seen him grow? Oh man, I've seen him grow leaps and bounds from the 8th grader at Carver who could barely make a shot. He always made the shot. He couldn't make it consistently. Right. But I remember the summer going into his junior year, he told me he put up 1,000 shots a day, found somewhere to put shots up, and it manifested in his game, expanding his game to where he wasn't just a slasher, wasn't just a defender, but whenever he got that swing opportunity, whenever the ball went up, I knew it was going in. Eric Gill, assistant coach at Booker T, Jamarri Simpson, All-State. Congratulations on that, man. Thanks, guys, for being here. Appreciate you having me. Back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics next.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent outgoing and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri. We're going to continue talking to the folks over at Booker T. Washington. Eric Gill's with us again, the assistant coach. Now we're joined by B.J. Harris, who's made an appearance before, but he was so good we had to have him back. Really, because you just not only won a title, but became an all-stater. I asked the same thing of Jamarri. You know, I know you're in a team game, but there's something to be said for being one of the best in the state. How'd that feel?
Sure. It feels great, man. You know, just seeing all your work, you know, seeing all the accolades you get from putting in the work, it feels good.
You guys, and I've asked this of your coach and Jamarri as well, you know, there's points during the season where you really start to understand this basketball team is clicking. It's more than about being talented. It's about being together. When did you understand that? When did it really feel that way?
For me, I'd say it was probably, I think, third game of the season. We lost to, I want to say Union. We lost to Union, and after the Union game, we had to talk with like all our team and the coaches, and after that, I feel like that's when we became more like a brotherhood, and like we started playing basketball together and not just trying to get ours. So that's when I say I knew we was gonna win a state championship.
Did practice change at that point?
Yes, for sure. Everybody felt like they got better over the summer, which they did. So nobody really knew what their role was coming into the season. So after that talk, I feel like everybody kind of learned what their role was, and after that, it was pretty good.
You remember that, of course, Eric?
Oh yeah, I remember that conversation. I remember it very fondly and vividly. But DJ actually is the catalyst for somebody who had to change his role. Going into last season, he wasn't considered a shooter, but we were able to move him around in our offensive scheme because of the work he put in over the summer, where he came back in and he's shooting consistently what we do, shoot our 50. He was making 35, 40 out of 50 every time we shot. And so we had to put him in the shooter category, which meant that he had to change to the shooter slot. That changed everything around, my shooter.
What did you do during the summer? I mean, other than just put up shots?
Man, really, it was just listening to all the noise. Like in last year's state championship game, teams was literally guarding me at the free throw line. And I don't want to say I was the only reason we lost, but I felt like that was like a big part. I couldn't shoot the ball from the three, so teams didn't respect it. So going to the summer, it was just listening to all the noise, seeing all of it, watching film, seeing teams guard me at the free throw line. So I said that was pretty much my motivation, and just going in, shooting, getting my confidence back.
How many shots you think you put up a day during that time?
I'm not even gonna lie. It's probably like 200 maybe. I'd say 200 maybe every day.
Every day.
Say that, yeah.
You just continue to put those things up until they fall.
I'm not even gonna say every day. I'd say at least three to four times a week. 200 shots every day, at least three to four times.
But it worked out, right?
Yeah, it worked out.
Now, you talked about having, of course, Jamarri when he was young. You've done the same with BJ. How has he grown?
So BJ, again, I've had him since he was in 8th grade at Carver. At Carver, BJ in 8th grade was scoring like he's scoring now. He would have like 30-point games. And one of the things I would tell him is like, BJ, you're not going to be the biggest and strongest whenever you get to high school. Like, you have to get a skill set. And to his credit, he went from just being a bully driver that was the biggest guy to turning into a defensive stalwart and a shooter. So a consummate 3-and-D guy. And he definitely transitioned his game around the things that he was strong at, but continued to add to it. So I'm extremely proud of him.
So when you weren't the biggest, I mean, when Jamarri got taller than you, and the coach was saying you were taller, and then suddenly, hey, Jamarri, those other guys are getting bigger. Were you ready for that, or
I wasn't?
It's one thing to have somebody tell you, but then to see it.
Hearing and being the kid that I was, you thinking like, I'm always going to be bigger than somebody. I'm always going to be able to play the same way. Say going into my freshman year, Booker T tried to play the same way, but I'm playing against seniors, 19, 18-year-olds. So I didn't really hear it until I was going into practicing and it wasn't working, and I wasn't playing my freshman year. So that's when I knew something had to change.
And you went ahead and you went and changed it. But that's to his credit, because some athletes are stubborn and they won't do that.
No, he was stubborn at first.
Yeah,
Like, let's not sugarcoat it. He was stubborn at first, but I think, you know, he took a summer where he didn't play AAU and decided to work on his body and to work on his skill set instead of playing AAU. And he was in the gym every day. He came to me and asked me what he needed to eat, completely changed his diet, and he came in his junior year a completely different body. And so that allowed him to play more minutes. Him being able to play more minutes meant that he could guard the other team's best player, and it kind of branched out from that dedication he put in and that work he put in that summer.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned AAU. I've always wondered, you know, that coaches always want players playing, or do you want them having that time? It's kind of like playing multiple sports. Some guys want you to specialize, some want to do other things. What's your opinion on those things?
Oh, yeah. I think it depends on who the player is, what the player's off-season goals are. BJ was an anomaly for us because he was the first one, and I remember we gave him a hard time at first. Like, you're not gonna play AAU? Like, oh, so you just gonna work on your body, all, you know? But he proved us wrong, and now we have another one, our freshman, that's actually following in his footsteps. Who's like, I'm not gonna play AAU this year. I'm gonna get in the gym. I'm gonna eat right, and I'm gonna work on my skill set.
Well, congratulations on doing that, and congratulations on All-State.
Thank
Coach,
you.
thanks for
Appreciate
being
you
here.
having
Make
me.
sure you tell Eli I agree. You're a better looking dude.
I
Right?
appreciate it. Everybody will see it.
Back with more coming up here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We're going to continue to talk to some people who have set some high standards this year, including being All-State. With us right now is Jonah Rogers. He's the head coach. And then we've got Saniyah Morrison. She's from Rogers, and she's an All-Stater. Congratulations. That's really pretty cool. That's got to feel pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting.
When you got the news, how'd you feel? Tell me what was going on inside there.
I was happy. I was actually in class when I got the news, so I was just happy and blessed to make it.
Did they come in and tell everybody?
No, I got a text message. My coach texted me.
Did you tell everybody?
Yeah.
There you go. I would. I got to stop class. Look, we can get to history later. I got to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be fun. You get a little applause or something like that?
Nah, not really. Yeah. I mean, I did from like the people I told. But, yeah,
good for you.
I didn't tell the class.
Tell me about this young lady as a player.
Saniyah is just an amazing player. When I think about Naya, I think about a player being a generational player. When you look at players in this generation, you don't see many like her. I would say she's a full package. She's a smaller guard, but that doesn't mean anything to her. She'll go guard your 5 player. She'll guard 1 through 5 with no problems at all. She's a workhorse. She'll do anything you ask her to, and she's just a really good kid, really good player. I'm excited to watch her at the next level.
Did you see that in her when she was young?
Well, I didn't know Naya when she was younger. I'm from OKC and she's from Tulsa. So, but just watching her when I was coaching last year, I'm like, man, this girl can go. So I'm blessed to cross paths with her this year and be able to be a part of her journey.
You know, it's something to see a player, and I'm going to ask you about her in reverse here in a minute. It's something to see a player and know to your, okay, I can see the skill set. So if somebody can shoot, you can tell. Somebody can dribble, you can tell. They're intangibles. How do you look for those? What is it that someone can do in practice that really impresses you outside those things?
For me, it's just being a leader, like just coming in and yes, I can see that you can play. Yes, I can see you can dribble. But what makes you from a good player and a great player is I can go into the gym, close my eyes, and I can tell, okay, that's the best player on the floor because you're the loudest. You're getting everybody together and you're leading your team. And that's something that Naya does really well.
You seem pretty quiet right here. So you get out there, you change?
Yes.
Is that been all your life? Have you been that way?
No, I just started talking like on the court probably like my sophomore year.
And then liked it.
Yeah. Like changed the game, changed the flow.
You know, you mentioned smaller guards. I actually kind of like smaller guards because to me, if they're really active, they remind you of a paper cut. They just don't go away and they bother you all the time. Is that kind of the way you played?
Yes, just keep going at them because eventually they're going to get tired. They're going to get tired of chasing.
You talk a little bit to them on the court too?
Yeah, I talk a lot to them.
You get under their skin just a little bit?
Yeah.
Did they try to do it back?
Some of them.
How do you keep it from bothering you?
I just play. Just score, keep scoring. Yeah. I don't really let it get to me.
But you can tell if you're getting to them, right?
Yeah. But I don't really let them get to me.
When you're working on your game, what is it you tried to work on the most? What did you focus on the things you were already good at? Did you go focus on the things you knew you needed to improve on? How did you practice? How did you get better?
I'll do like all of it. Things I need to improve on, things I'm good at. Like just like all mixture. Just put it in one practice.
Okay, tell me about your team. What point during the season did you kind of think to yourself that you had a chance to be pretty good?
I'm gonna say when we came back from Christmas break, like that second semester, like the whole team, they started playing as a team. We switched it up, came together. Yeah.
What about you? You obviously know your team early on, and every team has a personality, and you have to learn it, even if it's the same kids.
Right.
They've changed over the summer, and personalities develop. How was this team's personality?
At first, it was very inconsistent. One game will be good, and the next game, I'm like, that's not the team that played a couple nights ago. But I'd agree with Naya. After the second semester, I think they came together as one, and they tried to understand each other as players and people. And after that happened, they meshed really well.
You know, it's always one thing to end a season and you have an immediate feeling, but then you look back. I know championship coaches tell me that you love that because, you know, all summer you're just thinking of the good stuff. And if you finish second or below, the rest of the summer you're thinking, I got to get back to where I was. Now that you've had some perspective, when you look back at the season, assess it for me.
I'm just blessed. That's really my word. First year head coach, I got both of my seniors that wanted to play college ball. I got both of them scholarships. I took some of the girls that we had and who didn't have the highest IQ or didn't have the highest confidence, and just hearing them be grateful for the things that I spoke life into them. So hearing those words, just being blessed, because I've always lived by the code impact and inspire. So I feel like those are the two things that I did this year.
Yeah, because there's you know, wins are something, and that's cool, and obviously accomplishments are something more important to impact a life.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt like you've done that.
Yes.
Guys, I said I was going to ask you about her in reverse. What's she like in practice?
Ooh, at first, like, we ain't like her. Like, in, like, the summer, going into, like, getting out of school year, them preseason practices, we didn't like neither of them. But we just realized they was trying to get us better and work.
How long did it take before you kind of got used to that?
Like 3 months. Because they'd make one practice cool, then the next day it's like hell the rest of the week. But we got used to it, though.
And then you realize that she's actually trying to make you better.
Yeah.
And then it's all right. Could you see that switch in them?
I could. I really could. Because at first it was, but then it was like, all right, y'all, let's get it over with.
That's funny. Jonah Johnson, pardon me, and Saniyah Morrison, thank you very much, and congratulations on All-State. That's really funny. We'll be back with more coming up here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up and empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri. Let's continue talking superlatives, shall we? We've got the folks from Memorial here, and when you talk Memorial in basketball, doesn't matter if it's women's or boys, it's going to be really good. With us is Rodrick Hall. He is the Memorial head coach, and Mataya Hall. Did I say it right? Mataya. I get it wrong sooner or later. Mataya Hall, All-Stater. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long does it take you to do your hair?
This took 7 hours, about 7 hours.
Can you do mine?
Maybe with some extensions.
He's going to have some really good extensions
Yeah.
and some great tape. I want to ask about being an All-Stater, and I've asked each player this. You work hard for team goals. You work hard because you want to get better, but then you get that accolade, and it's got to feel good. What was it like when they told you?
I mean, for me, I've been wanting to be an All-Stater my entire life. So whenever I got it, was like a relief and like kind of felt like completion. Like I've worked so hard for this and I got something I want. So it was very exciting and happy.
I would imagine you would be. And for you, I mean, obviously, it's not only somebody you're familiar with, but you coached all those kinds of things. It's got to be a good thing for you, too.
Awesome. My first All-Stater. I've seen the hours. I've seen the blood, sweat, and tears. So to see her reach her goal, it's awesome.
How early in her development did you see a really good player?
I would probably say a few years in. It wasn't necessarily that she was so good, it was just her commitment to the work. So she didn't shy away from going to the gym. She asked to go to the gym. She wanted to work out. And she had a genuine joy when she played. So it was more of that, and I was like, okay, maybe we have something here. And so kept her in the gym.
You know, it is interesting, isn't it? Because the players who are great have that inside drive.
Yes.
And they don't want to play video games, they want to go play.
Yes, yes. So it's not anybody driven, it's self-driven.
Right. Did you feel that in yourself early?
Yeah. I loved going to the gym, being around the gym. Even if I wasn't playing, I would just go and watch his games just to be there.
And we talked about the fact you played in college, and so she is watching, she's looking up. I mean, those things, you realize you're leaving an impact, don't you?
Oh, yes, very much so. Everything we do carries weight, so make sure we're doing it the right way.
What's that dynamic like, though, being related and then having to take coaching and play, and take playing and all that? How'd that work out?
For me, it was good, but then it was also like the bad side because like your dad is getting onto you. But also it was like I knew everything he was saying was coming from a place of love.
Yeah, right. Did you have a rule, and once you get in the car, it was gone or something along those lines?
Yeah, we kind of just worked it out. So we would get home some days, have extra long conversations. I think her maturity made it easy. We figured it out.
And that's important because if you have to just cut it off, that's difficult. You can leave those kinds of things out there. Tell me about your basketball team. Now that you, as I mentioned to other athletes, now that you look back on a year, you can have more perspective. What do you think?
I mean, I think we were a really good team. We had a lot of potential. We never hit that fully gelling stage where we were just, everyone was on 1,000 every time. But I think for sure we grew so much and everyone got better all season.
Did you see the same thing?
I did. I was very proud of the group of girls we had, and I thought they achieved so much in such a short amount of time. So all the girls on the roster improved. All the girls had milestones that they all reached. It was very fun to coach that group of girls.
That's something you hear coaches say. There are teams that aren't fun to coach. They may be really good,
right?
And I'm not saying they're bad kids,
right?
It's just a different feeling,
right?
And there is a huge difference when you get a team that you want to go to the practice with them,
right? Yeah, and they worked so hard for me. It was easy to go to work every day.
I was talking to the Booker T boys guys a little earlier in here. They were talking about some of the drills they had that were just so hard.
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite and your least favorite drill in practice?
My least favorite was like ladders. We used to have to do ladders, like especially during two-a-days, and it's like probably like 20 sprints, and it was the worst.
So explain what that is.
We would start like at 1, and then we'd have to do 2 down and backs, and then 3 down and backs, and then go back down. And that was the worst thing ever.
Right.
My favorite, though, was definitely like playing pickup and stuff and just scrimmaging each other and getting to play.
I want to ask you about that, playing pickup. There are coaches who don't want their players doing that. They don't want them doing that because they start to freelance. They think they develop bad habits, that kind of thing. What is your opinion on kids just going to play?
I think you have to just play. basketball is a game of skill, but it's also a game of feel. So you have to be able to feel where you need to be on the floor, when to make this play, when to make that play. And I think the only way to do that is to be in those situations as much as possible.
It's also a game of joy. And
yes.
when they're doing that, most of the time, they're playing pickup because they want to go.
Yeah.
And anytime they want to go, there's more joy in the game.
Oh, yeah. Have fun.
And there's a lot of joy being taken out of the game by some coaches, and that's harder on athletes,
Yes.
right? So you have to protect against that, don't you?
Yes. Well, we definitely wanted to, as a coaching staff, have them play, go through all the drills, go through the skill portion, wanted to make sure we was teaching the plays. But if we teach the plays in a 5-on-5 environment, we still have the structure, and they're still playing.
Sure, right. And it's still, everybody gets better all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Rodrick Hall, thank you very much. And Mataya Hall, see, I got it right that time. Congratulations on All-State, and I'm glad you got there. That's really cool.
Thank you so much.
Coming back with more right up next, next, right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
The great accomplishments continue here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri. None of those are mine. It's these guys. You got Bobby Allison from Memorial here and Jalil Cotton. So, yeah, when we say Memorial, you know we're talking good. Jalil's an All-Stater. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank
that
you.
is really cool. Tell me in that moment when they told you that, what was going on?
It was a great accomplishment. I was very excited, get out there and play and showcase myself in front of, people and be with great players, be with some great players to play with, But it was very exciting for me, though, when Coach Allison told me that.
All right, did you find out, like our last player found out in class? Where did you find out?
Through him.
So
I found out through.
At school?
Yeah, at school, basically. But, we was, in the office, and he kind of just told me, congratulations, all that.
Did you go out and start telling everybody?
Yes, of course.
Of course you did,
Of
absolutely.
course.
Right? Bobby, you obviously know what this young man is capable of. You had to be happy for him.
Oh, definitely extremely happy. And we had a feeling it was going to happen when we made the state tournament. I remember in a few games during the year, he just kind of, we had some refuse to lose moments. We went down to Tahlequah, and I unfortunately wasn't able to make it that game. And I was watching it on the live stream, and this guy right here had 28 points. I think he might have scored every single bucket for us, maybe in the second half kind of thing, where it was a tight game. And I remember texting him and his parents right then, and I was like, well, I think we're close to putting his name on the wall. And then when we made state, with the winning 16 in a row and being 25-5, ultimate team thing, but you got to reward your most productive player with that. And the state of Oklahoma and the coaches decided that Jalil earned that honor and averaging 14 points and 8 boards a game, 2-year starter. And that's an all-state career at Memorial.
It is. It's an all-state career just about anywhere.
Yeah.
But, as a coach, you've got to put these guys forward, and you have a lot of decisions to make in those kinds of things. And let's be honest, there are times that politics are involved in this kind of stuff, and so you worry about these things when you know a kid's deserving, don't you?
Yeah, you do worry at times. Fortunately for me, I was on the committee, so we let it. His resume spoke for itself, and I didn't have to do any politic, and his whole career, 3-year letterman, like I said, and the guys saw that, and district MVP, and it kind of, between him and BJ at Booker T, everybody was like, all right, who's third? And then Jamarri was a deserving third. So for us to have 3 in our district,
that's some good players,
and they were the 3 best in the district. So
when you were young, tell me why you fell in love with basketball.
Well, both of my brothers, they both played football. I tried football out. It wasn't really my favorite, but I love LeBron James. Very, very great player. So I just grew up watching him. And then I just fell in love with the game. I played a lot of 2K. So I fell in love in the game like that. And then picked the ball up, played at the YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it went up for there.
Thank goodness for YMCA's.
Yeah, no doubt.
Giving kids at parks and YMCA's giving kids an opportunity to do exactly what you did. You made an interesting point there, though. So you're playing some video games and playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help you later on? Did you develop an innate sense of the game and that kind of thing? Or do you think it was just an interest thing?
I feel like I was very talented. But basketball or NBA 2K, most definitely I can imitate a lot of things. So I kind of just tried that out there, and I got good at it. So
apparently it worked out.
Yeah, it really did work out.
It worked out. Kids do play a lot of video games. Do you think it helps them, Bobby?
Well, anytime you can, do something, you're actively, participating in something, and then you want to make it real, and then you go out there with the ball and you try to make it, your own version of what you like about that game. Let's just see if I can do it as my own flesh and blood and put it out there. And, I think that happens for a lot of kids, especially, kids are playing video games before the ball can even hit the rim.
Right.
And then once they get old enough to make the ball hit the rim, there's one thing. And then once you get old enough to be able to dunk like this guy can, then it's a whole nother thing. But I remember meeting Jalil in 7th grade. He was at Memorial Junior High, and I remember meeting his parents because I saw him playing a middle school game when I was there. It's right before the pandemic, and I talked to his parents, and I just wanted to assure him and them that we're excited about his future as a Memorial Charger, being at the middle school then. And at that time in 7th grade as a coach, I'm lucky you get to visualize being like, you see a kid out there competing, and I'm like, I think he's got what it takes to, I don't know if I said it to them, but I know I thought it. I was excited to where I think we might have an all-stater in the middle school. And through work and through some great teammates and just ups and downs and everything, what I saw of him as a 7th grader kind of came into fruition with his great parents and his great family, and then him putting in work with his great teammates. So it's really awesome that he's going to get to play his last game as the 50th All-Stater in the history of Tulsa Memorial at Veterans Arena, where the game will be played.
Yeah.
So he's going to represent. He'll have his name on the board and be playing. And I don't know if that's ever happened before. And he's going to be the first one to do that. So
that is pretty cool. What is your favorite thing about him as a coach?
He pushed us to be very hard. He pushed us to work hard. I really like him. We be able to talk to him about anything. We can't we don't have to. I don't know how to say it, isolate things to say with him. We could talk to him about anything. Yeah. And our assistant coaches, we can talk to them about anything. So it's just that we got very close with everybody. So it really, that makes us feel,
Well, congratulations on that. And your college career too, which I'm sure is going to be great. Bobby?
Playing at Redlands Community College, so he's going to keep that going.
Outstanding.
Yes, thanks, Rick.
Once again, the great guys at Memorial. We'll be back with more coming up here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
More great athletes here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Welcome back. I'm Rick Couri. Now Carlin Adkism is with us. He is the head basketball coach for the women's team at Booker T. He's got another thing we'll talk about coming up. Also with him, though, Marcayla Johnson, who is a Booker T All-Stater. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really cool. I've asked every athlete, tell me when you found out. Were you in class? Were you at school? And tell me what you were feeling at that moment.
I would say I found out, I think at school, to be honest. I think my parents told me in like a little family group chat thing that I was going to be a part of it. And I was like, that's pretty dope. It's very exciting because a lot of great athletes
especially for the women for Oklahoma.
Sure.
So all different schools. I think that's really fun playing with each other.
You immediately go tell everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's exciting. Was there a point at the season when you thought to yourself, I mean, you're working on a team goal, I understand that. Was there a point in your season that you started thinking to yourself, you know what, it'd be kind of cool to do that?
Oh, for sure. I think, especially after our season ended, I think I was just like, dang, like, what's next? Like, I'm trying to see, like, before I go to college, what's the last thing I could do in Tulsa that's super fun and involves different groups of girls from different teams that I played with for a long time. I was just like, dang, there has to be like one more thing I could do. And I'm so glad I got to be in that opportunity.
And now having some of the teammates that you've been battling will be interesting, won't it?
For sure. That'd be super fun. Over the years, especially middle school, different schools, we've all grown up together playing against each other. And now we can play with each other and against one more time. So I think that's pretty fun.
You know, Carlin, I've asked all the coaches who are here, and I don't know how long you've had her, but let's talk about how long you were around her and when did you see the spark in her that you knew was going to be a great player?
Oh, when she was young. But this is my first year coaching her, but I've been knowing of her since she was younger and definitely just always been that talent to where you foresee her, you know, getting to this point and being able to be a player at a high level. So she's always been that girl.
You know, and I've said this to other coaches too, is you recognize skill sets. I get that. But there's something else inside someone that makes you go, that one. What was it with her?
She just checks all the boxes, you know, as far as, you know, as you can see right now, just her personality, her character, you know, she works hard, she has the work ethic, and then definitely in the classroom. And so when you check all the boxes like that, you know that's when you got your one.
You know, I also ask coaches this a lot. Games and you know, sports in many cases, coaches are taking the fun out of that in some places. And good ones aren't, but there are some who are. How do you keep the joy in the game when you're at practice, when you're during a season that can be a grind?
You got to let them be them. You got to let them, let them be who they are, and at the same time, just manage their faults and try to gauge what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you know, you let them be free. You let them be who they are, and that goes a long way for their confidence. Yeah.
Did you know early on that you had a chance to be a great player? I mean, when you first started picking up basketballs, was it easy for you?
I would say no. I mean, I think everyone starts somewhere. I think when you're younger, you're more curious on the game of basketball, so you're having fun with it, you're trying it. For me, I was just looking up to my older brother because he played, and I had a whole bunch of energy. I didn't know what else to do with it, so my parents put me in it. But yeah, starting out young, I was always in the gym. I mean, the gym was like our little vacation spot. Being in the gym every single day, some days it was harder than others, but other than that, I think I started to gain confidence in myself going through middle school and transitioning to high school with different schools, different talents, and different players going up against. And yeah, I'd say that.
Was there a part of the game that was harder for you to really hone, right? Or did it all just kind of fall your way?
I think just the transition between middle school and high school, I think that's where it was just like wow, like these girls are bigger, we're actually lifting, like things are changing, and you know, girls' body changes and like growth spurts, all these things. So I just thought that like, wow, like, but I still have a chance, like I still have a spot. I feel like I played in middle school like a high schooler, I'd say. So I think just adding on to my game through that process was really cool, really fun to see.
You had a terrific basketball season, we know that. But now with a little perspective, when you look back, how do you assess your season?
It took me a long time to get here, but I mean, there's a lot of teams out there, a lot of coaches would like, you know, to get to that stage and then to play for a championship. So at the end of the day, we had a great season. The girls did great. They bought in at the right time, and for us to get to that point, they were playing at a high level. They were. Unfortunately, you know, things happened at the end. You know, somebody had to, you know, lose that game. But at the end of the day, I think they had a great season.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It does, like you said, it takes a while to get there. It does, because at first you don't even want to think about it. It's a disappointment. But you can't be disappointed playing a game that everybody else wanted to play in.
Right. Sure. Yeah. I think that once like I said, it took me a long time to get there, but once the perspective set in on me, I was just happy for them to be able to, help them get that opportunity to play for a championship. She's been trying since she was, since she got in, high school to get to that big stage. But, we got there, and like I said, I think that we all can learn from that. We all learned something coming out of that loss. It doesn't define us, but it actually does, helps with our character and build for the next season.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on all stages.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Carlin Adkism and Marcayla Johnson from Booker T. Back with more on Inside Tulsa Athletics next.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
We're back on Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host, and we're proud to have Carlin Adkism hang around with us. There's a reason, because his basketball season isn't over. He's going to coach again the large East team in the All-State games or in the All-Star games. Coach, congratulations. That's quite an honor.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It is an honor. It's my first time doing it, and I'm glad it happened at this time, being able to, coach Marcayla again and then my former players. So I'm looking forward to it.
It is an interesting dynamic, right? Because you've got a lot of girls that you competed with and against coming together, and you have to make it fun, but you still have a game to play. How are you going to approach it?
At the end of the day, you want to win. So, I want the girls to go out there and enjoy themselves. And at the end of the day, we definitely want to win and bring it back to this side of the state.
And these are people who have all played at very high levels, but they're all people who have played at very high levels. And sometimes making that a mesh, how do you do it?
Well, just rotate them. Just rotate them, let them have fun, get their minutes out there, get some shots up, and at the end, just, play whoever's hot. And just go from there.
Yeah, practice is going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a fun practice the day of the game, and get the chance to meet the girls, and have some food and lunch with them, and just go play the game.
Yeah, when you get to a level like this, it's because you've accomplished a lot in your career. Is there some perspective in there for you of what it took to get here?
Oh yes, I just we've always worked hard. I've always just preached to staying in the gym. Just providing that safety net for young girls to come in and just play the game that they love to play and practice and get better, and just realizing that one day it'll all be for the gooder, for the better for everyone.
Right.
And so I think that just stand to what you love to do each and every day, and I think everything else will follow.
You've got to, as you said, everybody wants to win, and so you got to go try to do that. But you also have to kind of try to get to know a team, even though you know them individually, pretty quickly. Kind of take me through how your practice schedule is going to work and what's going to happen.
Oh, we just from coaching against them, I pretty much know all of them, but not personally. So we'll just introduce ourselves and kind of just have some icebreakers at the beginning of practice, and just kind of tell them what we're going to do, and as far as offense and defense is, and then just we only have about an hour or so to get to know each other, so it'll be okay.
Roll it out there and see what happens.
There you go. Yeah.
Part of this is like, look, this is just for fun and it's an honor, but then part of it, and all these girls are competitive. So you like you said, you want to win. So you got to combine all that.
Yeah, you got to combine them and just see what meshes throughout the game and see what combinations you can throw out there at them. Like you said, all of them can play basketball, but just see who is making shots that day. Yeah.
And you said it's really fun to be able to coach Marcayla one more time. So you think that'll be entering your mind as you're out there?
Yeah, definitely. It's just been an honor coaching her, just being around her, and just seeing her grow from just from a young girl to where she is now, all the things she's accomplished. Just being able to play on the USA team and things like that, and just I couldn't be, I couldn't ask for nothing more from a player, and she definitely, made me, go home and opened up my bag of tricks for his coaching and things like that. Just made me a better coach. So I do appreciate, you know, just coaching her.
Well, yeah, an old coach, coach told me one time, it is amazing. You're a whole lot better coach when you got really good players.
Definitely so. Definitely so. Definitely make my life a lot easier, coaching her. But I think at the end of the day, she has taught me a lot, just as well as hopefully I've taught her. So hopefully she can take some of those things to Baylor and accomplish, you know, all of her the things she wants to accomplish.
That is really cool. How quickly after a season do you start working on the next season?
What's funny is I had to like, you know, get away from that last game and try to cut it off. And the only way I could have do that is to go into the next season, because I was just steady, you know, thinking about, you know, what happened and, you know, what we should have done and things like that. So I've been, in my mind, mentally, I've been working on that since, you know, the week after, you know, the championship game. So.
Yeah, and you got to give yourself a little bit of a break. So how do you get away from things in the summer?
I got to get away. Like vacation, get away. I got to get out and get away from, you know, Oklahoma and kind of just, you know, kick my feet up somewhere and just kind of relax and just enjoy life.
Where are you going to do that?
I don't know. I ain't thought about that one yet, but I'm gonna go somewhere after, because you know we got camp and things coming up in June, so probably sometime in July, you know, get out and get away, and then be able to come back, you know, fresh and ready for the new start.
It is amazing. It never really ends, does it?
Never. It doesn't. It doesn't. I like you try to take that, you know, no vacation and spend time with your family, but it's a blink of an eye. You're right back into the season.
That somehow I can see you on the beach in the sand.
There you go,
just drawing, right?
Yeah.
And if you go here, that's using the kids for, you know, or they got to
definitely
bring the kid over from the next thing. I need you to play point. Come over
there
here.
You go. There
you find yourself thinking like that sometimes?
All the time. I mean, even if just watching, you know, the NBA playoffs is going on right now, and you try to plug the pieces that you have to kind of see what they're doing, see if it'll fit your schemes. So you're definitely always thinking about what you can do to become a better coach. So. Yeah.
What do you think about next year right now as you look at it? Pretty good group?
Yeah, definitely. Me and Marcayla was just, you know, discussing that in the car about how, you know, what pieces need to go where and who need to be doing what. But we definitely going to have a good team still, and, you know, hopefully make it back to the same dance.
Booker T girls, Carlin, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
Nice to meet you.
We'll be back with more in a minute here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Well, that was fun. Thank you for joining us here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, and we had ourselves a good time talking to coaches and players. Got great stories about practice and how they felt about each other when they first got together. A lot of all-staters and a lot of young people who have just achieved at a high level, and that's what it's all about. We're coming to a close of high school athletics for now, but we'll be back, and I hope you will be too. I'll see you around the stadium or the gym right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.